On this day in 1976, a landmark decision handed down by the Supreme Court affecting Omaha Public Schools. The High Court ruled OPS was guilty of segregating K through 12 schools.
Between 1974 and 76, the government took the district to court over the issue. Well, back then, the U.S. Department of Education argued African Americans were not allowed to move into white neighborhoods. And since Omaha only had neighborhood schools, black students naturally pulled into those buildings. A circuit court ordered the district come up with an integration plan that largely involved busing.
Now, around that time, white flight took over North Omaha, with hundreds of people moving west. Enrollment of white students in the district dropped off, and African American students were encouraged to travel to predominantly white schools. Well, by the 1990s, OPS adopted an open enrollment policy based on their income rather than race.